Ava Morgan was no ordinary high school girl. At 17, she had the glow of a cheerleader, the posture of someone born to lead, and the kind of disciplined focus you'd expect from someone twice her age. But what set Ava apart wasn't her beauty or her popularity, it was what she carried inside: steel. Not the cold kind, but the kind forged in struggle, molded in silence, and strengthened by every cruel word thrown her way. From the first day she stepped onto the cheer mat as Westbridge High's newly appointed head cheerleader, whispers followed her like shadows. "She's only here because her dad is military," they'd hiss. "Daddy probably threatened the coach." Behind every sparkle of her uniform, behind the perfect ponytail, were bruises, not on her body, but in her heart. Yet Ava didn't break. Because Ava had grown up with a father who didn't teach her how to walk away from pain, he taught her how to rise through it. Staff Sergeant Daniel Morgan, retired combat instructor, wasn't the hug-every-minute type of dad. He was the up-at-dawn, train-until-dusk type. He taught Ava how to throw a punch, sure, but more importantly, he taught her how to control when and why to throw it. A real fighter, he would say, doesn't swing first. But when she does, she finishes it. Ava lived by that. Every day she walked into school with her head high, even when Kenzie and her clique started pushing buttons. Kenzie was the former captain of the cheer squad, the one Ava had replaced, and she took that loss like poison. Ava had tried to be diplomatic, even friendly. But Kenzie wasn't interested in peace. She wanted war. It began with small digs. Mocking her jumps, mimicking her voice, whispering jokes just loud enough for Ava to hear. Then came the sabotage. Missing laces in Ava's cheer shoes. Sugar in her protein shake. Accidental elbows during stunts. Ava knew it was them. Everyone did. But she said nothing. Every time her dad asked how practice went, she smiled and said, "Fine." Not because it was, but because she didn't want him to worry. After all, she was trained. She could handle this. At least, she thought she could. One afternoon during rehearsal, they took it too far. Kenzie pulled Ava's ankle mid-routine, causing her to tumble from the pyramid and sprain her wrist. The coach didn't see. The others stayed silent. Ava bit back tears, clutching her swollen wrist and locking eyes with Kenzie, who offered only a smug smirk and the words, "Oops. Guess you're not combat ready today, Barbie." That night, Ava didn't sleep. Her wrist throbbed, but not as much as the ache in her chest. She sat at the kitchen table, holding an ice pack, when her dad walked in. He didn't ask many questions. He never needed to. "You gonna let them keep playing games with you, or are you gonna remind them whose daughter you are?" Ava looked at him, his eyes steady like granite. "You said not to fight unless I have to." He nodded. "And now I'm asking, do you have to?" Ava didn't answer. Not with words. But something in her shifted. She knew the answer. The final straw came during Spirit Week, the biggest pep rally of the year. Parents, teachers, and the entire student body packed into the gym. Ava was nervous. She'd worked for weeks to choreograph the routine. Her wrist was healing. Her spirit was almost back. And for once, she thought maybe she could enjoy this. But Kenzie had other plans. As the music blasted and the cheer squad performed their moves, Ava hit every step. Then came the final formation. As Ava stepped forward to hit her solo move, Kenzie and two of her friends rushed behind her, holding up a giant sign that read "Combat Barbie reporting for duty," in bright pink letters. They threw fake grenades made of crumpled paper and began saluting mockingly. Laughter exploded in the gym. Then came the final insult. Kenzie shoved Ava's shoulder hard enough to throw her off balance mid-spin. She stumbled but didn't fall. And in that second, everything stopped. Ava's blood turned quiet. Her breath slowed. She remembered every push, every comment, every quiet humiliation she had endured. Her father's voice rang in her head, steady as ever: "Don't fight out of rage. Fight with reason. And make sure you end it when you start." Ava turned, calm as steel. And before anyone could blink, she moved. Her stance dropped, precise. Her foot swept Kenzie's leg clean from beneath her. The second girl lunged. Ava sidestepped, grabbing her wrist and flipping her to the mat with a judo roll she'd practiced since she was 10. The third girl froze in place. Ava took 2 steps forward, but didn't strike. Just stood tall, looking her dead in the eye. The girl backed away and slipped. 3 girls. 10 seconds. 1 cheerleader. The gym fell silent. All that remained was the sound of Ava's breathing. Students looked on, stunned. Teachers frozen. Phones out. Recording. Live. Coach Reynolds ran over. Ava. What the hell just happened? Ava didn't speak. Not yet. She walked to the mic stand, pulled the mic from the announcer's hand, and stood tall at center court. Some of you think I'm just a cheerleader. That because I wear a smile and a uniform, I'm weak. But I'm not. I've been mocked. Pushed. Humiliated. 4 months. And I said nothing. Because I believed kindness was strength. But I won't be a target anymore. None of us should. So if you're watching this, whether you're sitting in the bleachers or watching on your phone, remember this: you don't have to fight to win. But you do have to stand. The crowd was dead silent. Then one person clapped. Then another. Then the entire gym exploded into a standing ovation. The story went viral before Ava even got home. By that evening, #CombatBarbie was trending across social platforms, but not as an insult. As a badge of honor. She was praised for her strength, her speech, and her control. The next day, Ava was called to the principal's office. She expected punishment. Instead, Principal Herrera smiled and slid a tablet across the desk. It was the gym footage. He tapped play. "Self-defense," he said. "You didn't throw the first strike. And you stopped when you had to. You did exactly what we try to teach around here: you protected yourself. And you used your voice." Kenzie and her friends were suspended. The cheer squad issued a formal apology. Ava didn't demand one. She didn't even celebrate. She simply kept showing up. Stronger. Sharper. Wiser. But one day, she got a message. It was from Kenzie. Short. Honest. "I don't expect forgiveness. But I get it now. I was jealous. I'm sorry." Ava showed the message to her dad. He smiled gently. "Forgive if you can. But never forget how strong you are." She replied, "I forgive you. But I'm moving forward." And she meant it. Ava's story became more than a viral video. It became a movement. Her speech was quoted in assemblies. Other students spoke out against bullying. Some came up to her crying, thanking her for giving them courage. But Ava never let it go to her head. She didn't want fame. She wanted peace. The kind that comes from knowing you didn't break, even when the world tried to snap you in half. Today, Ava still leads the cheer squad. Not with fear, not with revenge, but with strength. The kind that lifts others up. The kind that refuses to shrink. So if you're watching this video now and you've ever felt small, ever been mocked, shoved, or pushed aside, let Ava remind you, you are not weak. Your kindness is not a flaw. And your silence doesn't mean surrender. But when the time comes to speak, speak loud enough to shake the room. And if you ever have to stand, stand tall like Ava did. Because in the end, the ones who mock you don't define you. You do. Ava's story is proof that courage doesn't always roar, it sometimes moves quietly, until one day, it drops the bullies cold. So, what would you have done in Ava's shoes? Drop a comment below, we want to hear your thoughts. Your voice matters. And if Ava's story inspired you, please like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next story that just might change your life. This is brought to you by Be Kind Always, because the world needs more strength, more empathy, and more people who choose courage over cruelty.